have the conversation about the most unsafe place for a black man or a black boy or a black girl is a woman's womb. You are attempting to trivialize a conversation that's supposed to be semi-serious. And I guess we can get cute and get dumb and start talking about abortions or whatever. I guess we can. But the fact of the matter is that you can't go from saying the most unsafe place to be is a black woman's womb when we live in America.
I would agree with that. I think therapy is mainly to help people process and work through their own thoughts and their things about themselves, to help them see things. I think that a therapist is supposed to act like a mirror to some degree. You know, while you're talking, you should be talking a lot more than the therapist is talking. And yeah, I think it's to help people who have difficulty processing, to process. And I think I would argue most people do have that difficulty. So
Mark, real quick, do you do therapy? Have you done it?
I've done couples therapy. I've never done my own personal therapist, but I've been in couples therapy.
As I've done a abnormal amount of therapy for one reason or another, and one of the things that I take away from it is that your therapist has to align with you. A lot of therapists that black men go to tend to not like men, or they tend to be kind of slanted towards men, so they embody and accept like a lot of these feminist, misandrist points, and then try to use that as the medicine to help get that guy to think and act the way that they think a man should act. And what I think would be more useful for men specifically is to find someone who has been through exactly what they're dealing with. Like if you were a guy, didn't have a dad, finding a group of men who didn't have fathers and having conversations with those guys. Or if you're, for example, I went to therapy for just life adjustments, like going from one level to the next, and I had an issue with that. Talking to my therapist didn't help, because all she could just talk about how to process like my emotions, and that's not the issue that I was having. I didn't know what to do, like actionable things to do to make what I was dealing with better. And a lot of the times therapists don't have that. They can help you with the inner work, but I'm talking about the inner and outer. So me going to get a mentor is what helped me understand where I was going, and helped me because he could identify, and he had been through exactly what I had been through. I can't speak for women, but with men, I don't think that you can help somebody who is going through something that you haven't been through any more than a guy can help a woman understand what it's like to be pregnant, or understand what it's like to have a cycle. It's just certain things that we need to keep within ourselves. And I would suggest and hope that more men would go find male therapists, at least male therapists, if not a male black therapist, before you go put yourself under the care and pay for the treatment from a female therapist.
Go ahead, Pretty.
I don't understand the need to gender therapists, but sure, I do agree. You definitely want to let the men listen to your issues, because we ain't trying to hear it. I'm gonna say this. Yeah, I'm gonna say this. When we have the conversation about the most unsafe place for a black man or a black boy or a black girl is a woman's womb, you are attempting to trivialize a conversation that's supposed to be semi-serious. And I guess we can get cute and get dumb and start talking about abortions or whatever. I guess we can. But the fact of the matter is that you can't go from saying the most unsafe place to be is a black woman's womb when we live in America, and then turn around and try to act like anybody is to take you seriously as it relates to your need for mental health. Like this is always my problem when I have conversations with you guys. You will take any opportunity to take shots at black women and turn around and ask us to give a crap about what you go through. Like on one hand, you want to take shots at us about exercising body autonomy, and then turn around, no one cares about the black man and the black man's experience and how a black man in America. And then you're gonna crap on black women. No, it's one or the other. It's one or the other. If we're unsafe, let's be that. Stay away. Okay? And then if we're safe and you want to have a conversation, you want to be heard and all these things, then give that reverence and that due respect and you'll get it. But that was a really weird transition from you there, Willie.
Willie, you want to respond?
There's nothing that warrants a response because nothing that she said is what I said. And the fact that she chose to talk about that just tells you the part that's important to her. If you think that me highlighting that more people are aborted than are murdered, and that's what bothers you, that's a personal conflict that she just wanted to have a conversation about. All monologues don't need to be responded to.
I think that it's important to say that therapists don't necessarily help you process. They give you tools in order for you to use so that when you can't, like when you are processing, because we process all the time, therapists listen to you so that they can make you see what you are doing in your processing, and they give you the tools in order for you to deal with your triggers and your trauma. Like, I agree with everything that was said, but not exactly. It's therapy for most that actually like go to therapy and like really do the work. Like when I hit, like everybody knows what one of my triggers is. Like everyone should know. And so it takes a lot to get me to a certain place. Like I'm cool because I have the tools to kind of like work through it. And so that's how you can tell that someone's trigger is a reason and not an excuse, and they're not dodging accountability, because you can see those tools working. Like you all saw it on this panel when something was mentioned, and I was like, hey, let's not talk about that. Like, hey, don't do that. Don't mention that. I'm not okay with that. And so when they kept going, now you get what you get. So like you can see tools like actually working in real time with some people. So when someone sets a boundary with you, that's a tool. That's something that they actually learned to use in therapy. Hey, I'm not comfortable with that. Don't do that. I got called a whiny baby, and now I got to go off on her. So like, we can all be held accountable for how we act, but also pay attention to when people are setting boundaries, because that is a tool that they learned in therapy. So when you trigger somebody and they say, don't do that, and you do it, you deserve what you get at that point.
So, one, that trigger that you mentioned, that was probably the most egregious stuff that I have ever heard somebody say in their life. And I am the king of saying egregious shit a lot of the times. Mm-hmm. So that was unfair. But when you say that you tell someone to not do something, we have to remember is you can't tell anyone to do anything. You can only ask them to. And if they choose to not do what you ask them not to do, if you choose to crash on them, that says everything about you giving into your trigger in that emotional state.
Yes.
Then it says nothing about them, because what the wiser choice would be is like, you say, hey, Willie, don't talk about that. And I'll talk about it. Instead of you crashing on me, you just remove yourself from me. Now I can't talk to you about it. So when we're saying like, I just don't want people to think that their triggers are an excuse. You've seen my stance on why it's not an excuse for a woman to be on her period, acting, saying to be mean to people and be irrational. That hormonal imbalance, I don't give a shit about. You choose to be that way, right? It's the same thing here. You're choosing to be that way because, and your justification of it is this. And a lot of the times, it's not safe to do that with people, because if you crash on someone as a woman, you crash on a man. The men are being taught to not put their hands on women anymore. They're being taught to not tolerate disrespect. And a lot of men, unfortunately, are choosing to handle disrespect with physical aggression. So I would hope that no woman would take, you know what I'm saying, a guy specifically who has, what do you say, transgressed against her boundary, and then think that, okay, well, I can disrespect him and then nothing's going to come from it.
So I agree with that. It's definitely a choice. How you respond is your choice. How I responded had nothing to do with her, it had everything to do with me. And so
wait, I wasn't talking about your issue specifically. That was bullshit.
I
You
know
should have
that.
punched her in the
No,
face.
I'm just using me as an example. When you do something, there is nothing that other person has done that can make you do something. So I do agree with that. It's always a choice. But I'm just speaking from like, if that person does choose to do it, it's fair. But I get what you're saying. Like, I think that both of these things are true. I don't think that it's right on either side. But yeah, if someone chooses to disrespect my boundary and I can't make them do it. I can ask them. But if they choose to disrespect it, then I got a choice to make. And so I don't always make the right choice. And that's okay.
That's, I don't either, so that's fair. Just
How is that okay?
How is it okay? Because it was my choice.
So you're okay with the ramifications of your actions?
Yeah.
Okay. See, and that is one of the things that make these conversations highly needed within our community. You're giving license to bad behavior. Correction, Willie, not a lot of men put hands on women. A choice few do. It's not the majority of minority. It's more the minority. If a woman feels she needs to boss up and she can't use her feminine presence to disarm a man, and she chooses to use other things that are non-productive, what happens if you face one of those men and you feel that that's my choice? You're not going to win that situation 9 times out of 10. A woman works better when she speaks softly. Her voice commands the room at that point in time. You get a lot more accomplished that way. Saying that, I told you once, I told you twice. No, instruct the man, disarm him as for how to treat you. You teach people how to treat you. That's simple. And women have that grace about them where they can move a mountain or stop a man from being provoked by just putting their hands on their chest, speaking to them lightly, being very intentional about what they say, and take away the threat.
damn, Kenny, I like that. G, that was good. That was.
You don't think it's fair though that she stated that she understands what she's doing, and she understands that there may be consequences, and she's okay with accepting those. I think it's fair that she, as long as she understands, where she is, then that's all you can ask for. She can make her own. We all can make our own decisions.
I never took away her decision, but is she okay with the outcomes? Most women are not okay with the outcomes from men that can't remain stoic and stay within their place. Those women say they are until they're put to test. You don't want to get put to test. You don't want an alpha male. Men today are not alpha males. They're more so beta because they give in. Alpha male is Mr. on Color Purple. You don't want that. You want a man that's comprehensive, that's able to listen to you and reason rather than instruct and tell you what you will do and you don't have a choice.